Are you a business owner and you have no idea how Google Ads works or how even to go in and check some of the basic metrics in your Google Ads account? And if that is you, you need to stop that right now.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now, let me give you an example for why this is so important. Most business owners do understand that they're not an accountant and they don't have any real desire to become an accountant and know the ins and outs and the exact rules about tax minimization in their own countries. Or they don't want to know how to put together a balance sheet or a profit and loss statement. I know that's definitely me. But having said that, even though I don't have any interest in knowing the exact rules, everything to do with tax in my own country, or how to go through and take the time to put together those balance sheets and those ledgers and the profit and loss statements, while they are really important for the operation of my business, it's not something that I want to get bogged down with. But having said that, even though I don't want to know all of the details, I definitely, as a business owner, want to have a broad idea of the tax implications of running business in my own country and some possible tax minimization strategies that I can put in place. I also then want to know how to read a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet so that I can see some of those really simple metrics so I'm not caught in the place where my business is spending more money than we're actually making. Now, thankfully, that's definitely not the case for my business, but unfortunately, right here in Australia, and I know this is true for many countries, many businesses are under pressure because they're quite simply spending more money than they're making. And the reason for why I have taken the time to really understand some general concepts of tax minimization in my own country and really understand how to be financially literate and be able to understand those documents is for two core reasons. The first thing is that I don't want to get ripped off. Now, I do trust my current accountant. I do have to make that very, very clear in case they're watching, but there are some horror stories of business owners getting ripped off just because they don't understand some core accounting principles. And then the second reason for why it's really highly important is because especially I do have some understanding of the tax implications for my own country and for selling courses online and different things like that. I'm able to go to my review meetings with my accountant with some really strategic questions on, can we do this, or is this a viable strategy for my business? And that's the same example as to why I believe that every business owner should have a core understanding of Google Ads and especially know the core metrics that they need to be reviewing in your own Google Ads account. And it's for those same two reasons. Firstly, to make sure that you're not getting ripped off by your freelancer or your digital agency. And then also secondly, so that when you are meeting with your digital agency or your freelancer or the team that is running your Google Ads, you're able to ask some really specific strategic questions about have they considered this or are they doing these things for your particular business. So in this video, I want to take you through some two core principles. Firstly, I want to give you a really top level view of the type of things that you should be looking for in Google Ads. So specifically the type of metrics that you want to be reviewing and the metrics that you want to be asking about and the metrics that you want your digital agency or your freelancer or your team to be giving to you on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on how often you want that data. And then I'm also going to show you a really quick process to make sure that you're not getting ripped off by your digital agency or your freelancer, because I know most digital agencies are very trustworthy and they put in really honest work, but I have seen some horror cases where businesses have been slugged for management fees for sometimes for 3, 6, I even saw one for up to 9 months, and the agency had done nothing. They hadn't changed a single thing in their account in that time. So to make sure that's not happening to you, I want to give you a really quick way of doing a bit of a backdoor spy on your digital agency. So we're going to go through and do a screen share, but just in case this is the first video you've ever watched of mine, my name is Aaron Young. I'm from Define Digital Academy and I'm your 15,000 hour Google Ads master. And the reason for why I'm so passionate about business owners having a core understanding about Google Ads is because the very first Google Ads campaign that I ran all the way back in 2010 was for my own business. So I've seen the power that Google Ads can have to grow your business, and trust me, it can be a game changer when it's used in the right way. So right now, let's jump into the screen share so I can show you a couple of things in Google Ads. So when you are in Google Ads, you want to go to your dashboard. Now, the one thing that I would say is to make sure that you're looking at a longer date range. So what I would generally do is I'll be looking at least sort of a 3-month sort of date range. So let's go from January here through to March. That's looking at a 3-month date range. You can change your dates in through here. And then what I also like to do is go and look at monthly. And remembering, because you're not wanting to get into all of the data, you're just wanting to see some top line information. And we can see through here, we can go through and change these tiles. So let's change this one over to conversions. And what we can see through here is that we can see, from February through to March, we've seen a really good increase in the number of conversions, which is actually also seen a decrease or an improvement in your cost per conversion. This one is a service-based industry, but we have nominated some conversion values. So if you wanted to change this through to your conversion value cost, which you just click on this little drop down and go through here. Now, as I stress, this one is not a true e-commerce campaign, but that's the metric that you want to see for your e-commerce campaigns. You can also take it over to conversion value. But once again, this conversion value is just something that we've added in as a nominal value to add in some extra hierarchy for our service-based conversions. But that's the way that you would check it. And then also too, you can check things like your conversion rate. So that's an easy way where you can just kind of see the general trend of what's been happening in your account and what the performance has been. But what I really want to show you is this is the way that you can go through and spy on your team or your agency to really see what changes they've been doing and how active they've been in your account. And you want to go into your change history down here. And what you can also do is you can also add in a filter to change it to the user. The reason why I'm doing this is because this is an account that I manage, but I do manage it with the actual business owner and his marketing team. So they do all of these keyword search terms because it's a very specific product niche. It was just easier for them to do the search term audits. I then do all of the ad copies and the bidding changes and the strategic changes from there. So you can see from here, once again, this gives you can break it down by the weeks. You can see that, I've been really active with our ad changes. We're going through regularly doing the bidding changes, and we're also doing some different audience targeting changes. Now, the biggest thing what you'd want to be looking at here is if you see that this all changes has a 0 or a really low number, it's a really telltale sign that your agency or your team hasn't been active with changes. Now, it doesn't mean that they may not be doing any changes, especially if you are running an e-commerce campaign, especially shopping campaigns. They could be doing a lot of their changes in the Google Merchant Center, and all of those changes don't feed into Google Ads. But what it does let you know, if you do see a small number or a 0 there, you can at least ask the question and really ask your team or your agency to really give you some extra information on what changes are happening and what optimizations they are completing. Now, the first thing I want you to understand about Google Ads, and I'm not going to get into the technicality of how the Google Ads algorithm works or the core optimizations that you should be focusing on, because I know that for many business starters, what you really want to know is the core data that is driving and building your business. So it's really important to note that when you are talking to your freelancer or your digital agency or your in-house marketing team, is that don't get amazed by the amount of impressions or the amount of clicks or the amount of views that your ads are getting. And the reason for that is because in Google Ads, you can get some really specific data. So it is unlike some more traditional forms of media where they very much talk about, this billboard will give you 1 million views or this ad will give you 100,000 impressions. The beauty of Google Ads is that you can track just about anything. So you can not only know the number of conversions that you've got. If you're running a e-commerce store, you can actually see the amount of revenue that those sales have brought in. If you're running a service-based industry, you can not only track the phone calls, but you can also track the time of the call, the duration of the call, the keyword that actually triggered that call, and you can even get the user's phone number in some countries. And then you can also track when someone completes a form or a newsletter sign up. So you can really track pretty much anything that you do want to track as long as it's set up as a conversion action in your Google Ads account. So because that is the case, because you have so much ability to track different actions inside your Google Ads account, whenever you are meeting or whenever you're getting reports from your digital agency or the team who's responsible for your Google Ads, is you want to go beyond the clicks and impressions, and you want to be really asking them about these core metrics. And that is the number of conversions, then also the cost per conversion. And then if you are running an e-commerce campaign, you want to be asking about your conversion value cost. And that is an important metric because that is your ROAS score. So it's letting you know how much you're getting per cost. So it lets you know how much revenue or how much conversion value you're getting for every dollar that you're spending in Google Ads. Now, they're the most important metrics that you want to be getting because that's letting you know that, for example, you are spending $10,000 in Google Ads and you're getting X amount of conversions or X amount of sales. And then as the business owner, you can really start to make some decisions as to whether that is a worthwhile investment And then you can even give your team some benchmarks, letting them know that, when we achieve this cost per conversion or when we achieve this conversion value cost, that we can then start to increase the budget. Because one thing I do want to stress with Google Ads is that if any agency is telling you that you just need to increase your budget in order to increase your performance, you need to run, and you need to run away fast. And the reason for that is because, generally speaking, increasing your budget only magnifies the current performance that you're seeing in your Google Ads account. Yes, you do need a minimum spend, and that depends on the market and the niche that you are in. But once you've met that criteria, just throwing money at the problem is not going to solve it, especially for Google Ads. So you want to be always questioning around your conversion metrics. That's the core thing that you want to be looking at. So as a business owner, that's what you want to be asking for. Can you give me my return on investment? And as long as you're asking it clearly like that, it just gives a really strong message to the team that's running your marketing that you're not interested in the number of clicks, you're not interested in the number of impressions. What you're really interested in is how many conversions or how much money is this making my business. So if you do jump into your Google Ads account and you go into check that change history and you see that it's a 0 or that number is really small on changes, what you do need to go through is you just need to go through and ask your team basically what optimizations have you been doing. And to take it a step further, you can actually ask them what their optimization strategy is. Because best practice is that your marketing team or your digital agency should have a really clear strategy on what they're going to be doing to optimize your Google Ads campaigns every week, every month, and every 90 days. Because there are some actions that need to be checked, but after they've checked, they may not actually need to change anything. So that's why it's really important to ask that question, so at least they can give you a really clear answer and say, yeah, we did check that. Here's the data, and this is why we didn't make any changes. That's especially true when it comes to things like your bidding strategies. To help you with this, if you're a business owner and you do want to be able to give your marketing team some extra tools on how they can optimize their campaign, or if you're looking to take on the management of your own campaign, this is a great starting place that will let you know the optimization actions that you need to take out in your Google Ads campaigns. And if you're running search campaigns, I want you to go through, follow the link in the description below and get my Google Ads optimization checklist. Or if you're running e-commerce campaigns, so you're running Performance Max or shopping campaigns for an e-commerce store, I want you to follow the link in the description below to get my e-commerce optimization checklist. And I know both of those checklists will be a great tool for either your own team, yourself, or the digital agency or the freelancer that you've engaged. And if you do want to take this learning further for Google Ads, I've actually put together a free 10-part teaching series, which lets you know how to not only set up every type of Google Ads campaign, but it also lets you know how to optimize each and every campaign in Google Ads. And if you want to go through and watch that teaching series called Get Google Ready, all you need to do is to go through and watch this teaching series right here. Thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy, and I'm your 15,000 hour Google Ads master. See you next time.